Namaskar and welcome to Indian Diplomacy, show on India's national broadcaster, Doordarshan, about Indian foreign policy, India's international relations, and India's ties with key countries far and near, big and small. Viewers, this is the special 150th episode of Indian Diplomacy, and we are discussing a very, very crucial, growing and fast transforming partnership of India with the Republic of Cyprus. This is an important country in the Eastern Mediterranean with whom India has now developed a comprehensive partnership. And on all parameters, India-Cyprus relations are growing very fast. So why is that happening? What is behind this momentum in Cyprus-India ties? And what is the broader impact of this partnership on the region and the world? These are some of the key questions we're taking up. And I'm so privileged that we are hosting none other than His Excellency Constantinos Kombos, who is the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Cyprus, in the studio here in Delhi. Minister Kombos, welcome to Indian Diplomacy and to India.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And let me congratulate you for the 150th episode of this show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's such a great honor. You have been a scholar, judge, diplomat, and now you're minister for foreign affairs of your country. You travel length and breadth of your country, and you know your people and society so well. For our audiences, who may not be so familiar with Cyprus, a small country that's, thousands of miles away, it will be helpful if you can start by talking about why Cyprus has had a disproportionate influence on Mediterranean, on Europe, and on the world at large.
Look, my country has been blessed to have a geographical position that puts it in the middle of Europe, the Middle East, then Gulf and Northern Africa. And this has been a blessing and a curse at the same time. Throughout history, we had many countries, many conquerors going through Cyprus. We had Cyprus become like a blender of civilizations where there is a cosmopolitan approach to things. And we have faced existential dangers, and we're continuing to face existential dangers as we speak. So this, in a way, has formed the mentality of my people, a mentality of being flexible, of ingenuity, of being outward looking. And we have focused on how we can, first of all, make sure our economy is strong, and then how we can develop historically strong ties with the countries in our region. So we have been working hard to establish a network of very strong and close relations with everyone around us. And we have extended that after our very important accession to the European Union back in 2004. So we are a country, a member state of the European Union, which is the #1 trading partner for India.
Yes.
And at the same time, we are part of a region that has faced considerable troubles and has been going through crisis in the last many years. So in a way, we see ourselves as a bridge between Europe, the Middle East, and by extension, the Gulf. Right now, the world is facing many uncertainties. And one of the possible answers to this situation is the establishment and the creation of alliances and of connectivity. And for that to take place, I think a basic precondition is to have a solid a set of relations with all the countries. So Cyprus has been through a lot. Cyprus has been suffering and is suffering the aggression of a big neighbor. A third of my country has been occupied for 51 years now by Turkey.
Yes.
And despite that, which is an existential daily threat for us, Cyprus is still part of the international community in a very constructive way, in a way that is based on our willingness to contribute, to reach out, to focus on the positives, which have to do about economic connection, have to do about how we can be the country that, in a way, links different regions.
Absolutely, a great commercial nation that has been at the crossroads of multiple continents, as you say, Excellency. Now, you already mentioned the economic dynamism, and under President Nikos Christodoulidis, you are seeing consistently high growth, low unemployment, and foreign investment is pouring in, and there is a boom in Cyprus, and everybody is noticing that. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi made his historic visit, the first by an Indian Prime Minister to Cyprus in 23 years, in 2025, earlier this year, he met the CEOs and the business community there, and there was a mention of the fact that Cyprus is an important node of the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, the IMEC, which is a major strategic project for transcontinental connectivity. And there was also talk about, more, investment, two-way investments. And ever since, we have noticed almost 1 billion euros investment by Cypriot companies in our maritime logistics and shipping and all these things. So please tell our audience about the economic potential.
In Cyprus, the economy has been growing. We have growth that in 2024 was the biggest in the European Union. We have unemployment that is below 5% and dropping. The biggest decrease in sovereign debt, which is now around 65% as regards GDP, and it's going down. So the basics of the economy are there, and they are very strong in comparison to what's happening in general in Europe. But above that, there is a lot of incoming investment towards Cyprus, because investors see Cyprus as the springboard for doing business both with Europe and with the Middle East. There is a lot of flexibility and diversity in the economy, with what used to be the driving force, tourism, now becoming just a part of the economic mix. We have the emphasis on the maritime sector, with Cyprus being among the top countries in Europe in terms of ship owning and ship management. We have the 10th largest commercial fleet in the world. We have now an emphasis on financial technology and technology companies that are being stationed in Cyprus. They are contributing something around 14-15% of the GDP right now, and it's growing with hundreds of startups. So there is a lot happening in terms of the economic mix and how it's being transformed in a way that adjusts to the future of the economic, of the direction of the economy of the world. At the same time, Cyprus has been a source for outward investment. And you mentioned the recent investment in India originating from Cyprus. I was looking at the numbers, and Cyprus is among the 10 biggest investors, FDI, for India from 2000 till now. Something around $15 billion.
Cumulatively.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Cyprus size, this is some kind of disproportionate. But it shows exactly that there is a lot more activity, financial activity, economic activity, investment activity happening than what the numbers show in terms of trade of goods. So if one looks at that table, it will show very modest activity. If one looks at the investment and the collaboration and the synergies that are being created, I think the prospects are very, very bright for this bilateral relation. And we have discussed at the political level. I believe we have done a big part of our duty in sending the right messages to the economic actors, in the sense that first, we are indicating that there is clear political commitment from both sides to work together. Secondly, we moved beyond the theoretical or the rhetoric expression, and we have formulated a strategy in terms of an action plan for 5 years, starting after the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Cyprus. It's a horizon of 5 years where we have short, mid, and long-term objectives in various categories, from tourism, investment, defense, culture. Every sector of the economy, maritime, is being covered in a way that we create a framework of safety and security and confidence for our businesses. So now it's up to the business communities in this climate, international climate we are facing, the difficulties we are facing. A big part of the answer is how we connect and create alternative situations, realities, and trade routes. And IMEC is one such example. It's still at the stage where it's being developed as a concept, as an idea. It's been affected by a number of factors. But one factor that is crucial in relation to IMEC is that it has competition. Because sometimes we forget and we think that this is a project which everyone is supportive of it. The answer is yes and no. It is supportive, but there is a lot of competition because there are other trade routes that are being designed as we speak. So at the end, it's going to be something, it's going to be down to geopolitical positioning. And it's very important to send the right messages that from India to Europe, Cyprus being at a critical position during this route, and in between, we are talking about states, countries that are friendly, that have an excellent set of relations between them, which at the political level, it ensures that you have the necessary foundation then for the investment and the economic activity to take place.
So foreign policy sets the tone and creates the basis on which the business, a two-way business can flow. And we really commend the work being done by both ministries on both sides. Minister Kombos, you already mentioned defense and geopolitical. Let me also go there. The joint statement when Prime Minister Modi visited your country was very clear that Cyprus supported India's stance on countering terrorism and extremism and religious hatred and all these things, which have been emanating from Pakistan and backed by Turkey. On the other hand, we have also been very steadfast in supporting the UNCLOS and the international law of the seas and the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Cyprus, which, as you mentioned at the outset, has been affected by Turkish aggression. So let's talk a bit about this aspect, because some people are saying now, India already has a strong strategic partnership with Greece, which is very close to you culturally and politically. India already has a very strong strategic partnership with Israel. And now we have comprehensive partnership with Cyprus. We hope it becomes a full strategic partnership also officially. And on the other hand, there's the Pakistan-Turkey, axis, and which are, playing nefarious games. So please talk to our audiences about this aspect, this convergence or alignment at the geopolitical level, and also how you think India can play a bigger role in defense and in supporting your sovereign claims and your territorial rights. You are yourself a scholar of international law, and you know this like the back of your hand. We had INS Trikand, our stealth frigate that recently came to the port of Limassol, and we are so happy to see this development. So how can we cooperate on these, what you call, you yourself mentioned during the Sapru House lecture here in Delhi, that on core issues we are together, right? So these core sovereignty and territorial integrity and respect for rules-based order, how can we strengthen it, especially through military and defense cooperation?
There can be no excuse, no justification, no basis for terrorism. And we totally agree with the approach that there should be a zero tolerance policy towards terrorism, but also we need to be very, very careful as to avoid distinguishing between the terrorists per se and those that are enabling or financing them. For us, for Cyprus, for the European Union, for I think every country that believes in the international system that is based on international law, there can be no separation between the two. So this, I think, is a very important guiding principle. At the same time, we are facing dangers and threats. It happens that we are facing threats that between them, they have strong connections. But I'm very careful here in expressing it in the way where we are not coming closer with India because of the threats we are facing in terms of third parties. We are coming closer because first, there is a very strong foundation, and secondly, there is a mutual interest in terms of economic growth, economic prosperity. And of course, there is an alignment in terms of how we approach the world and how we approach anyone who is operating on the basis of seeing aggression, power, might as a way out of difficult problems that are being caused because of international law.
Yeah.
So if one sees international law as a problem, if one sees international law as a reason for trying to find ways to go around it, then automatically our value system, our joint, I think, approach to these issues points in a direction where we cannot accept this. So you made reference to the recent visit of an Indian frigate to Cyprus. It's part of the conversation we're having at the political level, how we can enhance our cooperation. I don't think that anyone can have any kind of disagreements as to why this is happening. And even if they do, I believe that it's our sovereign right to decide with which countries we associate ourselves with, what kind of defense alignment exists, what kind of cooperation exists. Because sometimes countries that have the upper hand, they also have the belief that they can dictate to others, that they can, in no way possible, they can engage in protecting their own national sovereignty. I don't think this is the right way of doing things. I know it's the wrong way of doing things. And we will not make ourselves, another past example of a state that was basically consumed by the bigger neighbors. That's not the way the international system should work. For us, India is a natural ally, a natural partner. There is a lot more we can do together in terms of supporting each other, in terms of our defense capacities. And I don't think anyone can accuse us of being in any way on the offensive against anyone. On the contrary, we are facing dangers. So we have a right to self-defense, and we have a right to try and make anything we can in our part to protect our people.
Your exclusive economic zone, the gas, all these things, yes, very much.
This is a very delicate issue in the sense that we have been blessed with natural resources, with gas. We have developed a program of bringing it to the surface and sending it to the markets, of making use of it for our own energy mix. There is part of the project plan that is being questioned by Turkey, questioned on the basis of claims that are not compliant or aligned with international law, not relevant to UNCLOS. So the whole point has been to keep our energy program hostage of the will of another country. And this is not something that anyone could accept. It's not in any way something that has deterred us from continuing with our efforts. We have contracts with giants of the energy sector. They are continuing with their projects, their exploration. Hopefully, we'll have results that are going to be commercially available very, very soon. So we'll continue with that. But this is a very good example of how a region, how a country within a region has the potential of exploring its natural resources in a way that adds to the autonomy, the energy autonomy of the European Union, adds to the autonomy and creates networks of cooperation with countries in our region, with Israel, with Egypt, and so on. And at the same time, you have an entity that is operating as a spoiler to that, on the simple
and
basis.
You have to counterbalance them, yes.
And on the simple basis that one believes that because of size, because of power,
might is right. Yeah.
Might is right. Yeah. So that's another example where I think Cyprus and India, as strong supporters of the international system, have to be aligned.
Absolutely. Minister Kombos, you already mentioned the EU presidency, and it's a very prestigious thing. Cyprus is assuming the presidency of the Council of the European Union in 2026, and with the EU, we are doing a lot. Like you mentioned, it's our topmost trading partner. What can we expect in terms of how this bilateral friendship between Cyprus and India, how it can translate into gains for the broader India-EU relationship? Cyprus
will be assuming the presidency of the Council January 1st. will be a strong supporter, a very strong and vocal supporter of the EU-India relation. Not only because we have a very promising and a very strong future in our bilateral relations with India, but also because it's in the interest of the European Union. The European Union, as I already mentioned, is the #1 trade partner for India, is the #1 investor in India, but at the same time, India is only the 9th trade partner of the EU, and it's making up something around 2% of the trade mix of the European Union. So one can see the potential. And there is a lot of potential there, especially in a period where there is uncertainty in terms of the trade norms.
Especially with the US, yeah.
There are constant challenges and events happening that are creating this need to look at how you can maximize on existing structures. And the free trade agreement between the EU and India, we believe it's a very strong framework that would enable both the EU and India to benefit in a very difficult and challenging times. And we hope that we will have a very positive, definite outcome by the end of the year, as has been the aim that has been set by both the EU leadership and India. In our role, we'll be facilitating in any way possible this positive outcome. Our role is very specific in terms of how institutionally the presidency is being contained in what it can and cannot do. But beyond that, I believe that the right political messaging, the right facilitation when that needs to take place, in all those elements, in all those parameters, Cyprus will be fully supportive because, according to our analysis, it's an extremely valuable arrangement for both the EU and for India.
We look forward to your facilitation very much, sir. Last but not least, people-to-people ties. We have around 15,000 or so people of Indian origin in Cyprus. They're very active in shipping, healthcare, information technology, and all the major contributors to your economy are doing well. We saw them come out in force when Prime Minister Modi visited also our diaspora. And then there is a tourist inflow, which is shorter term, where Indians would like to travel to your country, see, the amazing island ecosystem and the beautiful beaches. I mean, you're closer to us than Greece, but more Indians go to Greece and fewer go to Cyprus right now. We don't have direct air connectivity. So what are you doing in terms of how can we harness the diaspora and also tourism?
I agree with you that the numbers in relation to tourism flow both ways are not what they should be. And there is a paradox in the sense that Indians travel to destinations that are further away geographically than Cyprus. And this has a very simple answer. It's primarily because of the lack of direct connectivity, flights. This is something we are working with my counterpart. We are trying to give the necessary incentives to the airlines. We believe that Cyprus can be part of a direct flight scheme that includes perhaps a third country. And we are looking into that, how the most optimal way of doing that. There is a strong potential also for outgoing tourism from Cyprus. Cypriots travel a lot. And India is a destination where I believe it could be extremely attractive to Cypriots that are taking these trips. As regards diaspora, you mentioned the number is around 15,000 as we speak. Our aim and ambition is to increase the numbers. We have, as I said earlier, unemployment below 5%. This is creating in the labor force special requirements and needs for filling in gaps. And we are focusing especially on the high-end sector in terms of skilled workers in IT and so on. There is an amazing human capital in India. So we are working to create the framework that would enable increasing the numbers you already have. And We believe that in an economy where the financial technology sector are booming, are growing, attracting and recruiting talent from a country that produces talent of the highest caliber is a natural next step. From that point onwards, Cyprus can also be the entry point into the European market for these skilled workers. And we're looking into the ways of making this easier and more practical, because we believe the diasporas are performing an instrumental role in acting as ambassadors of the countries in a reciprocal kind of way. So we're looking forward to finding answers to these questions, practical answers at the government level. But at the same time, we are already seeing that the private sector is very active in recruiting such talent. And I think the key would be of finding the optimal way of getting the people from the university graduation moment into the marketplace that is so much European oriented, in sectors of the economy that are the future, and not in professions that are belonging to previous eras and periods.
Right. So mobility that is aimed at the future and so much else on every count, as I said, the viewers, economic, defense and security, geopolitical, people to people, and connectivity and inter-regional closeness, and all these dimensions, Cyprus and India are actually stepping out and doing historic steps forward. And the key point that Minister Kombos made today for all of us to recall is that there is a certain role for political leadership to play in terms of signaling, in terms of providing the overarching framework under which all these ties can flourish and prosper, and that's what is happening. The fact that we have declared a comprehensive partnership with Cyprus means something. And then there is the broader regional chessboard on which India is now trying to play a more active role towards the Mediterranean. And for that, Cyprus is going to be our natural partner. Minister Kombos has called it an organic partner. And we really hope that under leadership of President Nikos Christodoulidis and Foreign Minister Kombos, this relationship will go to greater heights. Minister, thank you for your work to foster this relationship. It means a lot for us in India, and we look forward to, scaling greater heights so that we can really live up to the full potential of this, natural partnership.
Thank you very much. And we are following the political directions of our leadership, both of the President and of the Prime Minister. They have opened the way. We are being tasked of making it a reality, and we continue the hard work because we truly believe in this partnership. There are about 160 Indian companies registered in Cyprus. Let's double it, let's triple it. We think that there is endless potential there.
Sky is the limit. Blue skies, great beaches, and so much else comes to mind when you think about Cyprus. Viewers, we are so privileged to have hosted the Foreign Minister of Cyprus here, and I urge you all to think about visiting Cyprus, and of course all these other dimensions as they progress. Naturally, the visibility of Cyprus in India is also going to increase. Viewers, let's focus on the Eastern Mediterranean. It's strategically very important for India for the reasons that we just discussed, and let us invest our diplomatic and our business acumen in that region, and it is going to yield enormous dividends. Cyprus is a stepping stone, I can tell you that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. Until then, take care.